So, good evening, everyone. Good evening, Presco people, and thank you for tuning in to the KQ podcast episode on a Friday this time. Please do remember to like us on our social media platforms. Those are Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. We also have a YouTube channel. Please do remember to like, share, and subscribe, and do share it amongst your friends. I am your host, Akhona Nkhompela, and this is the Power of Conversation. Joining the conversation tonight is two very special ladies. We've invited the organization FAMSA, the Center for Family Center for South Africa. We have Maria and Celeste. Now, before we go ahead and speak to our social workers, I just want to point out, for those of you who wish to make use or utilize our advertising platform, please do send us a message on our WhatsApp line. You'll find that on our Facebook page. You just send us a message and then we'll get back to you in no time with a quote. And also, we have different packages as to how you want to or wish to advertise whatever product you have. We can bring it up on the show. Should it be something packaged? Should it be some type of service? We can talk about it and, the quality of your service, how you deliver it. We will send you a quote as to how that works out. So please do stay in touch. Now, as many of you guys know already, if you've checked out the poster, is that tonight's topic is about absent fathers. Many of you guys will relate with the term daddy issues. And also the angle is how it impacts our social structure, because obviously we have FAMSA here, family and all of that. So we've invited them to give us some insight and also some clarity and educate us as well as to why we face this thing. We all know this is a phenomenon. In fact, it's a global phenomenon that women in particular have to face with. Now, when we are talking about father issues, I just want to make it very clear that we are exclusively talking about the traditional family. But this is not to be discriminated in any way to same-sex couples, marriages, because I think in any case, mostly, when it comes to same-sex couples and marriages, that is very, very much planned. You understand? And the issue with absent fathers is that a lot of times it's not planned, and then you have that problem. But let me stop on rambling on, and let me allow our guests to introduce themselves. Ladies, thank you so much for coming. Just state your name, who you are, what you do, and why FAMSA, why social work, why family centers.
Okay.
So I guess we'll start with Celeste.
Ja, dan zijn we bij
Okay, ja. Ons kan Afrikaans praten, Celeste, geen probleem.
Ik is lief daarvoor om te zeggen, ons is die Engelse, ons het Engelse bundles. So since I arrived here, I've been speaking English, and I feel like my English is busy to deplete. So as an Afrikaans praat. Okay, ek is Celeste Jooste. Ek is die hulpmaatskaplike werker by FAMSA, but currently I'm employed as a community development worker. So op my payslip staan community development worker, maar ek is 'n hulpmaatskaplike werker. Ons werk in Merendale en in Dikkershoop en in Prieska. Die rede hoekom ek die beroep gekies het, is ek het groot geword in dit. My ma is 'n maatskaplike werker, so dit is iets wat ek aangewoon was. En so met tyd is ek altyd die ene wat advies gegee het. Ek moes altyd gehelp het en later as ek gedink, kom ek gaan hierin. Kom ek kyk 'n bietjie, kan ek nie meer help nie. En so
All right, my name is Maria Makato. I'm the social worker at FAMSA. I chose this career out of love for counseling, out of love for seeing people's life change. And it makes me so happy when I see a client come into the office and leave with a smile. It makes my day. And when I'm out there in the community and I see the impact of their lives changing. We are faced with so many social dynamics, and for us to be there and help the people to juggle with the life issues that are going on right now, it makes me so happy.
Okay. Okay, so, but, Celeste, I am not going to be Engels ook praat. Afrikaans praat, maar voor Maria, daar komen die. So, FAMSA is an NPO, right?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, so what's the main purpose of us having FAMSA in the first place? Like, if you go to FAMSA, what would be the reason for you to go to FAMSA, or for somebody to be directed to going to FAMSA?
Okay, I thank very much. Yes,
Yeah.
I will try with the English.
No, that's fine. Most of our viewers are Africans anyways.
Okay, FAMSA is a family-centered NPO,
Okay.
but our main goal is counseling and therapy. So we don't deal with the generic side of the social ills. We only deal with the counseling, like mental illnesses, trauma, family problems, debriefment, all of those kind of things. The stuff that you don't see.
Yeah.
It's like, if I can just say it in plain, it's the stuff that you don't see, the stuff that you don't talk about usually. That is where FAMSA comes in.
Yeah.
Like in our Appleton offices, they have a play therapy where they deal with the children, and they do give therapy through play. So that is what we are mainly about. We are about therapy and counseling. We are there for the stuff you don't talk about and you don't see, that you usually hide.
And family is the center for our services.
Okay, so it's family based.
We treat family as a whole.
As a whole, yeah, as one. So we don't just work with you, come in for trauma counseling, and then we also want to involve the family, especially if it is.
If we can start with you, and then while we are on counseling together, and then it happens to come that there are issues in the family, we can have a family conference where the whole family can come in and sit, and I mediate in between them, and then they solve their problems. That's family orientated.
Wow. That is extraordinary, ladies. That's extraordinary. And so, since it's a non-profit, you guys are funded by government or third-party people? Because I normally see there's like a national lottery.
Yeah,
thingy,
lottery, it fund FAMSA, social development also, and anybody who wants to be part of FAMSA, you are welcome. So they are welcome to fund.
That is impressive work. I actually never knew that. Well, it's in the name.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I never knew that it was so family orientated based. Let me just try and fix your mic. Yeah, as I was saying earlier, before the show started, I remember going to FAMSA as a child. Yeah, as a teen, I was in grade 7. I remember my class teacher. He took us on a field trip, and then he actually just basically told us that day, "Listen, we're going to FAMSA." And I was like, "Okay, yeah, sure. What are we going to go do at FAMSA? And what is FAMSA? I don't even know what FAMSA is." And then he was like, "No, you were picked for a debate to go and talk about these movies that you guys have been watching. You know, every Monday. We've been watching movies every Monday. We're just thinking, okay, no, at least, you know, it's cutting time. It's a free, you know, like it's cutting time. You didn't know, do your homework. You don't want to be in class anyway." Little did we know that we actually had to, like, you know, pick up lessons from it. And it was the Heartlines. I don't know if any of you guys remember, if you guys are old enough. If you are my peer and you went to school and you paid attention, you would know what I'm talking about. You watch Heartlines. And as I mentioned earlier on to you guys, that we got The Good Provider from the 8 films. It was 8 films, 8 values. And the film's theme was responsibility. That was the value that we had to talk about. And I think it's so fitting that I remember that actually. That was my fate to have that, like thinking about the fact that we have to talk about this issue now for real. So the film basically was about Amos. It was a very profound film. He was a manager at some factory, and you know, he had a suit on every day, 9 to 5, very respectable and all of that. And then something went wrong with the company itself. It had to close down, and he was one of the people that was laid off. Yeah, and what he did was, instead of telling his wife and his child, instead of telling them, and he would get up every day and go to work with a suit, and then his wife one day, he comes from the shop or somewhere, and then sees him in the back of a bakkie with an overall on, because he would change somewhere, and then right before he comes back, yes, and you know, people will say what they will about that guy, you know, but that really, yes, maybe he needed his own counseling, and maybe he needed a better way to tell his family about it. But what happened? But that was the embodiment of, for me at the time, of responsibility. Yes. You have a family, you have a child.
He knew that he has to provide.
Yeah, that was drilled into his mind.
And then he just decided that I'm going to go behind the buggy. Doesn't matter.
Yes.
But the most important thing, when I come home in the evening, I come with a loaf of bread.
Yes, I provide. So ladies, the issue of absent fathers.
Yeah.
For me, like when I heard, there's a lot of people that will have their opinions about this, but for me, it goes to responsibility. It goes to speak about the person's sense of responsibility. I don't think there's anything else that we can talk about around that. Am I right, or like, you know?
Yeah, it's true. It's all about responsibility and how one takes his responsibility. Like how you become responsible. I think being a father, being a mother makes you to grow up.
Yes.
And then somehow along the way, with fathers, there are so many things that happens, and then all of a sudden that road ends somewhere, and then the relationship, when especially with a man, when the relationship ends, they start to neglect children. Like the children start to pay the price for what happened between them and their partners. And then I'm having a drive nowadays, because I'm having a group of men that I am always going there, and then we talk about these things of the absent fathers. That it is not about you as a man. It's about the child that is there.
Yeah.
What makes a child when the father is not there? It's that one that makes me to go out there every time when I have a program. Like next month, I'll be having a program with men again, so to talk about their role as fathers.
Yeah.
And most of the time when they come, they will talk about if we don't have money, the women says, don't come near our children. And then I'm emphasizing the fact that your child needs you more than the money.
Yeah.
Because it's not about what you give out, it's the love that you will show out to the child.
Okay. So then can we then, I don't want to define it because I don't think it's a very cut and dry definition that you can give when it comes to what is an absent father. So if I give money, right, but I am at a distance from my child, do I also qualify as an absent father?
Yes,
you are absent.
You are very much absent. Money.
And I give money.
Money does not.
Money is.
That's the other thing that men thinks that when they provide financially, the child will be okay.
Okay.
And that is the least of what your child needs from you as a parent. The least. You know, a child can be happy with his father when he does not even have a braid of love on his hands. The child will still be happy with the fact that my dad came. And then my dad bought a 13 rand ball at ShopRite and then go with it and give it to the child. The child will be very happy with the ball.
Yeah.
More than you have bought a phone.
Yeah, well, yeah, and this brings me to the angle of the entire topic is like the social impact it has. I'm sure our viewers are still waiting for that. It's like, why is it important to talk about absent fathers? And, how does it impact our social structure? You see,
it impacts our social structure in a big way because when research said it's already proven that a child that grows up with the father being present and the child grows up with the father being absent, they are not the same. They don't perform academically the same. The child who has no father has a high chance of dropping out of school, anger issues. The child will be having a resentment like, I'm not loved.
Yeah.
And then that affects the child as a child and affects the child as a grown-up.
As a grown-up.
Yes, because a child does not end up being a child. A child has to grow. And when the child grows, what happens? The child has already have the wound of rejection.
Yes.
And that's how they end up in dysfunctional relationships.
Yes.
Okay.
It's now like, for instance, take a girl child. Right?
Yes.
That's how they end up having sugar daddies.
Yes.
Okay.
Daddy issues. They want to fill it. It's not like
that
just because the grown up is interested in me. That girl is looking for a father figure in that older male. It's not always about the money that they provide. It's about the love, the protection, the things my father should have done. Now this older guy later in my life is doing it for me. And then for the boys, it's like they are idolizing this. I will use an extreme example, drug lords.
Yes.
They idolize them, they see them, they are selling drugs, and they have this nice cars, they always have nice clothes and what. And one day give them money, and that's how they end up in a life of crime, dropping out of school. Why do I need school? This guy is better than everybody. He didn't even finish school, he didn't even go to tertiary. I'm going to be like him anyway. So dropping out of school, selling drugs, ending into a life of crime. That's how it starts.
We have a very serious problem in South Africa because of the absent fathers.
And what do you think? Yeah, obviously we do. Because like the things that you mentioned, you guys are actually running ahead of me because I was gonna ask you guys that. I was gonna ask, so what happens? Like what are the effects or the results of absent fathers? And that's very true. So
and the children who have an absent father, they're having emotional neediness.
Okay.
If they are in a relationship with you, all of a sudden they will clean in, you know. And then when you start to say, man, then they have problems because their emotions are running all over. And that is where we are right now. We are having a boy child who's in an intimate relationship with this girl, and then he's always wanting the girl next to them because of what they go through in the back of their mind. Wow. I don't want to be like my father. I want you to be part of me every time, always there. Meanwhile, they are doing something that is definitely not right.
Yeah, so it's abnormal.
It's abnormal.
It's very abnormal to
They become obsessive.
And they might become abusive.
And that's where it's going. After that obsession, what comes up is abuse.
Because it's like a childhood trauma that they've grew up with.
No, that they grew up with. It's like every time, you remember this child has a problem of, they feel like they are lost.
Yes.
And there is also a problem of identity there.
Okay. They might have an identity crisis.
They do have an identity crisis because here I am in my maternal mother's name.
Yeah.
And then as a boy child, I'm supposed to be in my paternal surname, my father's surname. And then when they grew up, most of them, the children who grew up without a father, they will go and look for their fathers for their surname.
Yeah.
Because they feel like I was incomplete.
Yeah, I'm very familiar with that.
Yes, without my father's surname, I'm not really me. I'm not man enough. Even when they have children, they feel like every time they will tell their children that I'm going to change your surname because this is really not your surname.
Yeah.
Right through, they will continue to say those kinds of words to their children every now and again because they feel like I'm not in the right place.
Okay, so what I'm getting from the conversation is that, it's almost like a never-ending loop.
It's a vicious
cycle. It's a very vicious cycle. Because if my dad was not there, I'm probably not going to be there for my kid.
It's more
and my kids that will just go on.
A 50-50. Most of the kids, like I personally know somebody that he grew up without his father, but now he chooses consciously to be there.
Okay.
So it's more like either you will do exactly what your father did, or you will just do the opposite of what your father did. Absolutely.
But the most painful thing about it is that it creates trauma for a child, even when they are adults. I see it in when a person comes for counseling. Then we will talk about the problem at hand. Then immediately they switch off to their childhood.
Okay.
Then they start to say, I drink. Okay, this person comes with a problem of substance abuse.
Yeah.
But immediately switch off to say, I drink because I actually don't know my father.
Oh my goodness.
Then all of a sudden the session has to change because the problem is not that he drinks. It's because there is a trauma in that person. That's how absent fathers affect you as a child and as a grown.
I'm so glad that we are having this conversation. I'm glad that you guys are running ahead. Like I said, with my questions. I don't have questions anymore because you guys are just covering all the bases. But what I want to say is that what I really want to mention is that I'm really glad that what you mentioned earlier on, Maria, was the impact. Because, and this is going to take me to my next question, is that the absent fathers, they should know that they can just show up to their kids and play with them, even if it's for 5 minutes, even if it's just or whatever you can give them. And I also want the mothers to also understand that by keeping your child away from from the father away from the child, is that you are also contributing to the child's trauma, because you are now letting the child suffer for
the mistakes that she was not part of.
Exactly. And so this takes me to my question. What is the main cause? Or what is the cause, like the most common cause for fathers to be absent? In your experience, obviously. I know that it's not just one cause, but
we call it the gatekeepers.
Okay.
Gatekeepers. And usually
elaborate. I don't understand what you mean by that.
they call them the gatekeepers. Maria can add maybe, but this one always sticks out for me when we talk to fathers now.
Okay.
The gatekeepers, it will either be the mother itself,
Okay.
the grandmother, or the family members. They are the gatekeepers. They are keeping the father at bay from the child due to personal arguments, personal things that has happened between the father and them. The child was not part of it. But now, because we have this problem with you, you are not allowed near our child. They are the gatekeepers.
This is what happens. Here is a family that maybe they are well off, they are all okay.
Yes.
And then the girl decided to fall in love with this one.
Yes.
He does not have much, but he loves the lady he loves. Then they have a child.
Okay.
And then the family says, not that one. Cannot come into the family. We can never allow that one to come in. And then if their family says that, or they will say, he can't even keep out lobola, that those things damages. If a man can keep damages, he can't pay damages, that can be a gatekeeper. If a man can't say I'm having money to marry the daughter, that's a gatekeeper. You can't come in. So and they will go to the extreme of saying you can never see the child until you pay the damages. Then what happens? That boy is going to do what? Go back.
Okay, but I think we also, yes, sir. That is very, but I think we also need to go then about the roots that, what options do they then have? I mean, like the legal options, like, what rights do absent fathers have?
They do have rights.
Even if you're an absent father?
If you can go to legal aid,
yes,
and then request them to help you to have rights, parental rights.
Okay.
Nowadays we are encouraging the father and the mother to have a co-parenting.
Yes.
They come to FAMSA, we make a parenting plan for them, and then they know that on this week the child is with the father, this weekend the child is with the mother. On the holidays, we have 4 seasons, we have 4 holidays. It's April, June, September, and December. You take 2, I take 2, April and June, and then September and December. And then if we want to switch it, maybe this year is you having the child this time, next year, December, it's me. So that the child can have both families. Remember, the child does not come from one side. It's going to, the child comes from both families. The child will have the paternal family, the maternal family. This Christmas, the child enjoying with the father's family. Next Christmas, enjoying with the mother's family. Then it's co-parenting. That's what we promote.
And you guys facilitate that?
We do.
Wow, FAMSA for the win. I did not know that.
We do.
And I'm sure a lot of our viewers did not know that.
Yes, we do.
And it's free.
It's free. You don't have to pay a cent.
Yes, because you know when it comes to kids.
And the good thing is that when you come as a couple, as the father, as the father and the mother, you come to FAMSA to say, we want this. You are also going to get free counseling on how to juggle with life, because remember that even if we are not more partners, we have our own partners. Yes. Meaning that another woman is there, another man is there.
Yes.
And then for us to make a balance, they should also be part and understand what is happening. It also helps the relationship of the child. Mm-hmm. When he's with the father's family and the aunt is there, meaning the stepmother, the wife of the father, it's easy for them to raise the child. It doesn't have to be a struggle for the father to say, now it's my turn to buy the child the clothes.
Yeah.
There will be no fightings, even on that other side also. So it helps a lot.
So that is how we remedy the situations that we find ourselves in.
Yes.
Through FAMSA and by no, you have to go to FAMSA. Listen, if you have dad issues, go to FAMSA straight up. And if you don't have money, you understand, go to FAMSA. Because, okay, then this thing is really cut right then. Like, it sounds very cut right to me. I just don't think our viewers are okay.
The only problem is that we men don't want to come.
Okay.
Men are always going back instead of going forward. This is a platform, a good platform where we say, men, come out,
yes.
Get help. You want to be part of your child, and because you didn't have money to marry the girl, and the girl move on and then get married to somebody else, now you have a chance to remedy the situation.
Reach out.
Reach out, yes.
And you don't have to do it alone.
You don't have to do it alone. And then you can get help, and the child can get the father, and the child becomes happy. Because people have a tendency to think that now that you have a child when you are 19, you are 25, now you're working, and then you are paying child support grant. It's okay to pay, but emotionally, the child needs you.
Yeah.
The child wants to go out with the father for an ice cream.
You're right. And there's something that Celeste mentioned earlier on that's making me, and you guys will correct me if I'm wrong, that there is a disparity in, like, in our demographic. If you go to the statistics of young incarcerated men and girls who are more exposed to violence and rape and all of those things, you'll see there's a huge disparity between the races. Obviously, you'll find that the black and the colored community are more affected by this thing. But then, now with what Maria is saying is that there's a correlation between that and absent fathers because of the issue of damages, lobola, and culture, tradition, all of those things. Things that necessarily, like, the white people don't necessarily have. You understand? Because, I mean, I think, I don't know, I'm not white, but I know people that are white, where I remember in high school, for instance, you'd find, and okay, yes, it comes with resources, but then you'll find that the father would the father of the daughter was impregnated. He'd be like, no, you guys are going to get married, and see him, he come back, no, be plus. Yes, you understand? You have to provide for your family, even though you are from a disadvantaged thingy. And this is not for me to say, like, this is not me trying to say that black people, we don't have a responsibility bone in our bodies, but the numbers speak. And you understand is that we overcast responsibility with other things, with tradition, customs, and all of these things. I'm not saying that we shouldn't do that. However, the child suffers in the meantime.
And what you said is very important. In the white community, it's easy for them to do co-parenting than in the black community and colored community.
Yes.
Whites, it's very simple for them to say, okay, the relationship did not work. They are not bitter exes, unlike us. They are not bitter. Like, you'll find that today, Jane is going to be with this man. It's my weekend off. The women will find the woman being happy to have a weekend off.
Yes.
But with our culture, we'll be like, hey, in my, I don't know.
Yeah, it was like, over my dead body.
Never happen.
You must never.
We put stamps. And then we put stamps on the what? On the child.
Yeah.
Like the child is a pawn in a game.
Yeah.
That I will show him friends because he thinks
girl, give yourself a break. Give yourself a break. Take the weekend off. Give that child to somebody else. Send him to his father.
So with the white community, I like the white community when it comes to co-parenting.
Yeah.
Because it's easy. Pack your bags, your father will be here.
Exactly. Listen.
And the father comes in. He's not staying outside. He'll come, go, and then come in. Hi, Baba. And then, what's that? The Baba says, no, better. And Hi, how are you? Oh, take him. It's your chance.
And the mom might actually even get mad that the dad took so long to come pick the child up because she has other plans with her friends.
So
Right?
you see, in hours, oh Lord, the man will be like, I want to go see the child. You will pass the gate, and the Oma will be sitting on a chair like this.
Yeah. And
Yes,
then the mother has to cover that after.
yes. And then sometimes it's so painful because the young girl is standing wanting
Yes.
that.
She wants
You see,
that.
there was the time when I was working near a clinic, and then you will see these boys and girls there. They do make a mistake, and then the mistake is done. The child is here. When the girl takes the child to the clinic, is the time the boy will see the child.
Yeah, that's the only time.
Then they go to the clinic together and they're holding hands. Immediately, when they reach a certain place, the boy has to go and the child goes, the mother goes home with the child alone. That's our culture that makes the young boys to be absent.
That I feel bad even for the young girls that have to go through that.
Yes.
The trauma that you have to go through.
And then what happens? Later on, the boy go to Joburg to find something else. Then he found a new person and then he got married there. Then the girl, because he never stopped loving the man, she is so bitter.
Yes.
She's now resenting the man to say, you shouldn't have, because I was still waiting for you. And then what happens? You see how family can
The
gatekeepers can close their
That's a
doors.
phenomenon. I can relate with gatekeeping.
Yes, the gatekeepers are very, very important to know that. Let's give these young people a chance to mend their relationships, and also allowing the young men to come and visit their children.
Yes.
He doesn't have to have 10,000 in his pocket. Even if he has 500 rand to give out, allow him, take the money and buy the child those things that he needs. And the painful part is that you can provide for the child. You just become so bitter. Because they can provide, the family can provide it for the child. Just to allow Akhona to play with the child and ride bicycle dancing.
And something I want to add that I have come across many times is that sometimes the mother transfers the to the children or the father. That's very, very wrong. Don't try making up the child's mind like it should be now like yours. Like you hate the father, now the child also has to hate the father. Same goes for the father. Sort your businesses out, you do there in Ghana. And then let the child make his mind up by himself. Don't transfer your hate to your child.
I watch a lot of movies, right? So I was watching this one movie one time where the child looked that had a striking resemblance. It was of the father. It was an American movie, and the child grew up to the point where he was very reliant, and he was his mother's baby, mama's baby. And then if he did anything like out of step, or that the mom, because of that trauma that she went with, how you say, I'm transferring that hate and those emotions. Exactly. And so they try to control them to be like the mother. The mother tries to control to be like the mother. So if he did one thing that the mother did not approve of, or whatever, a small thing, the mom would go berserk. Right? You are like your father. And the child actually told her, one day, the mom never actually uttered those words, but it's like, no, man, you see him when you see me. You understand?
Yes.
I am not him. You understand? And it also brings you back to what you said earlier on. Isn't that also a traumatic experience, having to grow up with our father and having to be, and making the conscious decision to be present, you understand, in your family's life, in your children's life, with your wife, or whatever the case may be. Even if you don't have a wife. Don't you think that's also very traumatic for that person to make that conscious decision? Because they're doing it, in my opinion, it sounds like they're doing it because they don't want to be like their father. They don't want to.
They don't want
That's why I'm saying a person can come for counseling for something else, and then all of a sudden said something about the father.
Yes.
And then you start to, this goes back somewhere.
Yeah.
Then you start to, you probe towards that, and then you find that that person say, you know what, I'm making sure that, or a child sometimes they abuse children, these people. A father will beat the child. Don't do this, don't do. Always hush on the children. Because he is angry. You see? He's now transferring the anger to the child, but in a different way. Not in a way that you will see that it's a thing of an upset father. But when you start to look at, then he will bring the child to FAMSA and say, this child is not listening. When I say this child is doing this child is doing this. You know, then you see that this person is very angry. One day he can beat the child and, to a point of near death or something. Because when he is angry, when the subconscious come back, he's somebody else. You will find that he beat the child like, then you start to ask, what's happening? Why are you like this? Sometimes say, no, but I'm making sure that I'm the best father. Why do you have to make sure? That's when I come in. Why do you have to make sure? What is it that makes you to go that route? Or making sure. Then the person will start to say, you know what? I didn't grow up with my father. So I am making. Then the voice will start to
change.
Yes, the tone is changing. Because he feels like now it's a platform to take out that anger. Then you start to say, okay, here's what I'm looking at. You are having your problems with your father. Yeah, I did have the problem, but I dealt with it. Then you realize that we didn't deal with it.
Yeah, because you try to deal with it
on
your child, being the present father that you are. So that's why I can imagine it can also be very
and the love is not there. Because when anger is there, love is very little.
Yeah. I can imagine, because the thing is, I think, and I know a lot of people, especially black people, will disagree with me on this, but I do think that love is taught.
The reason why we want fathers to be part of their children is we want the children to see how my father loves my mother, even if it's not really my mother, it's my stepmom. How the child will look at how the father show love, appreciate the next person, and then the child will remember. Our children look up to us. You are the mirror of your child. What your child go through is because of what you showed them to go through that.
Yes.
I always tell to people that all my girls, they are males. Because when I'm relaxing, I'll just enjoy it. So they all do it. So we are the mirror. So as a father, when you show appreciation to this woman that you are with, and then the child sees that, okay, we don't have to fight with the woman, we have to love the woman. We have this kind of a society right now because the fathers are not there. The fathers are not doing their job. The boy child, mostly they are shattered. Boy child does not know how to love a woman. A boy child also knows just how to abuse a woman.
Yes.
A woman is just there to do other things, and then all of a sudden, I'm done, I'm okay. They don't know how to appreciate a woman because they have never been taught that. And in churches, we have so many conferences for women where women will be taught how to respect their husband, to do and all those things. But there is not a platform where men are called together to be taught how to appreciate their women. And then that is when we have this kind of social problems.
The final topic that we just have to touch on, when it comes to, I'll let you guys know now. I know it's Friday night out there, you're probably music, and it was a long weekend.
But when we talk about this conversation, I can talk the whole night.
No, I can talk the whole.
I'm very passionate about the absent fathers. I really feel like our society can be a better society if the fathers are present.
Yes, and that will be my takeaway. But before, now I don't remember what I was going to say. But yeah, so for me, the takeaway is that obviously we're trying to dissect the impact of the social structure, or how absent fathers impact the social structure. My takeaway is an absent father in the traditional family, or even in any family, right, could be, I don't want to sound dramatic, but it could be a very dystopic future for us in South Africa. It could be not so nice picture, because of the things that you guys mentioned. Just because Akhona's not coming.
Akhona's not interested.
Akhona's not interested in this child. And it could be a boy child, it could be a girl child. Right? It doesn't matter. You understand? Even if my child grows up to be a present parent, it might still not be a beautiful picture, not a pretty picture. So, ladies and gentlemen, please, I want us to take note of these things, because we have to raise children in this South Africa. And this land, when we sing,
can I add that although we are talking, although we are talking, this will be my closing statement. Although we are talking about present and absent fathers, I just want to guys to take this away. Male figures also can replace father figures. Male, just plain old male figures. Maybe an uncle, maybe the Opa down the road, taking care of all the children. This is my children. They know, guys know that if I need male advice, I go to that Opa there. If I need something to talk about, if I need love as a girl, I go to my uncle. My uncle is like my father. Even stepfathers can take in the role of an absent biological father. So it's not completely hopeless. If some males decide to take their stand and be present in their lives of their nieces, their nephews, and all of that, I think there is still hope for our society.
I wanted to come to that point, yes, my closing also, because I wanted to say death can happen to somebody, to this man. And then when death has happened, we can't say he's absent. Because he wanted to be absent.
He's dead.
But something tragic happened. We call it death. A father figure is very important. As a woman, you can just simply say to your uncle to say, or your brother, can you be there when the son, especially boys, because a girl can easily come to me and say, Mama, I'm starting my periods.
Yes.
But a boy will have problems to go and say to me to say, I'm having wet dreams.
Yes.
It's not doable. A boy will have problem to communicate to. But when you have a male figure that you have introduced to your child, as in your brother, as in your father, as in your uncle, the child knows where to go when they are at the crossroad. Because everybody in life has a crossroad where you don't know where to take this one, to take this one, to take this one, go back, go forward, go this side. And then that is when I will say, you go to say, let me go to my uncle, let me go to my grandfather. I know there I will find something that will make me a better person. So, but when you didn't introduce those kind of figures, what happens? A child will be at limbo. And then that is when the child will go to the street to get Akhona. My friend, help me. And then the friend will give wrong advices. So we really need to, even if it's not a really, or it's an uncle next door, can you help me grow these children? There's a church that I love that have a single women ministry, where that ministry, they choose male and female, like couples, to be umbrellas for these women and their children.
Yes.
Where they will say, when your children need something, they go to them. They can call them to advise the children, all those things. So the voice of a father is very important on a child. That might look something.
And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. For your Friday evening session to take away, it's hot. Eat it. I hope it's still up when you guys get to have a chance to go through your social media pages, because it's weekend out here. It was very fruitful. Ladies, Celeste, Josta, Maria Machato, thank you so much for your time. And thank you for sharing. It was a very insightful conversation. I really hope people take away from this. I have something to say. My name is Akhona Nkhompela and I have something to say as well. I also have something to say. I think, and it's just going to be an add-on on what you said. You guys have covered basically everything. Barack Obama has a foundation. It's called My Brother's Keeper.
Yes.
I am my brother's keeper. We need to take responsibility for ourselves, because that is where I'm on. I'm on that. I'm on responsibility. It might take me a while for you to move me with, all of these other things that you say why you can't see your child. But as long as you're breathing, that child is breathing, you have a responsibility that's looming over you. And it doesn't help whether you look away from it or pretend like it doesn't exist. It is there, and it's gonna break your back. You understand? Because it is there. Ladies, thank you so much for joining us on the KQ podcast. It was so fruitful. We hope to have you guys on again soon. Hopefully when we have a bigger audience and a bigger studio, and maybe we can have a drive with you guys. I did take note of the drive that you have. We will be sending through information about that drive of Maria's, and hopefully we can join you if that's not a problem with you, to also promote, because you shared a lot, the both of you shared a lot of information right now that I did not know. And I'm sure a lot of people, and Priska, I don't know, I'm sure the mothers know, but the gents, we need to spread it out. We need to have a conversation about this. And also families, right? Because you are not doing that child any favors. You're not doing that child any favors. Do not gatekeep. I understand we have customs and we have traditions and all of those things, but at the same time, we are human. And those things they don't live. You understand? Like damages, it's not a living thing. The living thing is the child. Yes, we can respect all of those things, but we also have to take into consideration that there is a child involved. And yeah, I really just want to say thank you. That was such an insightful conversation.
Thank you.
And it's unfortunate that it wasn't a Friday, but I do believe that people are going to wake up tomorrow and watch. There are other people that sit at home that will watch, and I hope people can share it. Gentlemen, ladies, please remember to like, share, and follow our posts on all our various social media platforms. We also have a YouTube channel. Please do subscribe. And for those of you, please do remember, who wish to make use of our advertising platform, send us a WhatsApp on our WhatsApp number, which you'll find on our Facebook page, and we'll come back to you in no time. I've missed you all. I've been absent for 2 weeks. I've missed you all. I've missed the camera. I've missed the seat. It feels good being back. And thank you, ladies, for making it so comfortable for you to also be back. I am your host, Akhona Nkhompela, and this is the power of conversation. Thank you.
Are you gonna play a song? Something?
You know, I want to play "Teach Me How to Love." I don't know, like, you know, but I don't.
Your phone is this one.
I'll call Meza in quickly.
Okay.
Because he talks about, in that song, about a man, how a man was raised, you know. You have to provide. You can never cry, you know, and he doesn't know, and he doesn't know how to love. Right? And I think it's such a beautiful song because he opens up about that, you know. And it's like, teach me how to love. I don't know how to love. And I think a lot of us need to go away with that, you know. We need to teach each other how to love, and we need to be open to be taught how to love, so we don't have these disparities in our community. But yeah, we still alive.
We're still live.
Oh.
We're waiting for the song.
Oh, the song. Well, I don't know where I
The
think,
Miz. The Miz is on the other side.
Meza, the Miz, the rapper named Miz. I don't think it's there. I think he probably went out quickly.
Can you please help us, Celeste? The phone was laid up at the count.
Oh, okay.
Because
And I forgot it.
And she's resourceful. Thank you so much. It was nice. I really enjoyed it. I was just a bit upset with my microphone. I don't know what was happening, but I actually don't mind holding it like this.
Yeah.
I still can't remember what I wanted to say. That was really, really profound that I wanted to say, but it's fine. I'll have it some other time, I guess. Yeah.
We are available for you guys whenever you need us.
Yeah, no, thank you. Also, a big shout out to my co-host and my colleague and my dear friend, Kanyisa Mbagabana. She was also the driving force behind this topic, very much. And, you know, me being a supportive colleague and work bestie, I supported her and I was like, you know what, friends, let's go with this one.
Yeah.
Let's go with it. It's a very insightful topic, and hopefully it would draw attention and draw viewers.
That's what we want, because
Yeah.
the absent fathers is really destroying our nation.
It is.
We can
It
call it
is. It's like you
whatever,
said.
but
It is. It's destructive.
it's destructive.
It's destructive.
And we really need to go back.
Mr. Co-host, apparently you have your phone with you.
Yeah, but
Oh, you want Thingy's phone for the Oxley?
yeah, well, he's connected. So
I was telling
this
you.
never happens, guys. Yeah, that's it. Oh, okay.
It was Thingy the message.
Where is it?
Where is it the message?
When I was preparing for this, I remembered when we grew up, when a mother passes on to the family, they will hold a meeting after the funeral to say, out of the brothers, who's going to be the father in the family. And what happens is the man and the woman and the lady may not really love each other, but because of the stability of the children after their father had passed on, they will be together and love grows.
Yes.
Then later on you hear them saying that the father died in that house and then the uncle had to come in and be the father. Automatically, traditionally they will choose if a woman dies, they will come and say, you, the young lady who is not married, you are going to be of your sister, meaning that you're going to be raising your sister's children. When you get there as the sisters, the auntie, then later on you'll find that the men will come and say, hi, man.
Yeah.
Then automatically, not long you find the aunt is pregnant. The children then grow up those kind of things, they did happen in the past. They were preserving families.
Yes.
But because of, life changing, we now don't see that that is not doable. But I like that.
Yeah, I think that happens, especially I'm familiar with that concept, especially with the, I grew up watching Mubango.
Yes, those kind of
right?
pictures.
Yeah, right, so the vendor culture.
Yeah.
When, what was his name? Tandaza's first husband. He passed away, and then she had to marry Azri. Yeah.
Those kind of
right?
No, now it's bad when you look at it, but back then it was preserving families.
It is.
It was
preserving values.
Yeah, the children will never go out of hand because there is always a dad in the house.
Yeah. And this is really not to say anything to the liberal family or.
No, we are just saying those things that they did. It may have seemed bad, but now when we look on it, but back then, it was good.
Yes.
It was good.
It was beneficial.
And co-parenting, it was good. I was telling Celeste about this young lady who got married. Because the mother got married to somebody else, and the father was present, both dads. On her wedding day, she was having both dads, walking her down the aisle. She did it. Her dad was on the side, her dad was on the side. The step and the father, they were walking her down the aisle because both of them they were part, and there was no. Hey, this one, no, I can't. This. It was a very nice wedding. And then when the pastor was asking who's giving all this, we do.
Yeah.
Nice one. So it's very good.
So we seem to have a technical difficulty with the song coming up, but I will play it even though we are not live anymore. Just for us to have like a debriefing about it on camera. Okay. But I feel like we're already debriefing it. It's nice. Once again, ladies, thank you so much for coming to the KQ podcast and digital radio show. Hopefully, you guys will come back. So to you guys, if you took note, I mentioned about an advertising opportunity. We've spoken a lot about FAMSA right now, so there was a lot of advertising as well. But do not be shy. Please do. If you guys want us to advertise anything about FAMSA, we can send you a quote and we can talk about the drives that come through and all of those things. I personally would love to be a part of it. As the KQ team, I'm sure a lot of other people would also be on the team. I think the entire team, in fact, that would want to promote this thing as well. We can work together, and that would be a nice thing. I think it would be a nice thing. Shout out to Nono, to our program director, producer. Thank you so much. You're lovely. And I want to give a shout out to the Miz. Thank you for setting up and making sure we sound well and good. But that's it from me.